The history of Nusach Hari B'nai Zion is a journey through time and space. We are part of an extended family whose history stretches back many years and across many miles. Our families came mostly from Eastern Europe at the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th, seeking religious freedom, economic opportunity, and a better life. St. Louis became their destination. They settled in the city, got jobs, started businesses and families, and in 1901, the first minyan of what would become Nusach Hari was formed. They conducted services in the spirit of the Ari, Rabbi Isaac Luria, who is the spiritual model for Lubavitch Hasidim. In 1905, they rented a hall at 13th and Biddle for the 40 families that were part of the congregation. Eventually, they purchased a building at 11th and Biddle, which they paid off by 1923. In 1930, in an historic visit to Nusach Hari, the sixth Lubavitcher Rebbe, Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson, delivered a Hasidic discourse, the only one ever in St. Louis. In another part of town, the predecessor of B'nai Zion was organized as a minyan in 1908 under the name of Beis Yaakov. In 1910, they rented space at Broadway and Russell, and in 1918, they purchased their own building at 3rd and Soulard and chose the name B'nai Zion. In the 1930s, the Jewish community in downtown St. Louis moved westward along Page and Easton Avenue to the west end of the city. Nusach Hari moved to 1395 Blackstone, while B'nai Zion thrived in the South Broadway area. Following World War II, Nusach Hari continued to grow, and in 1948, the Lubavitcher Rebbe sent one of his most promising disciples, Rabbi Sholem Rivkin, to lead the congregation. Under the leadership of Rabbi Rivkin and Shul President James Pessin, a Hebrew school, a Sunday school, the sisterhood and later a social club, and a post-bar mitzvah program were all initiated. In 1955, Nusach Hari celebrated its golden anniversary with a banquet at the Kingsway Hotel. The congregation rededicated itself to the principles upon which the shul was founded, loyalty to traditional Torah Judaism that is meaningful in the modern world. The St. Louis Jewish community continued its westward movement, and University City became the center of Jewish life. In 1956, Nusach Hari broke ground in western U City at 8630 Olive Street Road. Services were conducted in the basement from the spring of 1957 until the upper level was completed in 1959. Then, Rabbi Rifkin moved on, and Rabbi Jack Niewicz and family arrived. This began a period of great growth. By 1961, most of the members of B'nai Zion had moved away from the South Broadway neighborhood. The two congregations merged and became Nusach Hari B'nai Zion. In 1963, the expanded congregation built a separate education building.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Nusach Hari B'nai Zion congregation.
In January 1965, Rabbi Aaron Barrow began his devoted service to the congregation, emphasizing youth programming and education. He established the Wednesday morning Bible class, and in 1970, Carl Mirowitz and H.H. Bremler initiated the Shabbos of Learning program. Both series continued to be popular to this day. In 1974, a house on Woods Mill Road was purchased. There, Ted Lewis held additional Sunday school classes and Shabbos services until 1977. Bar mitzvahs, dinners, picnics, and of course services and learning continued through the 80s and 90s. In the 1970s and 80s, the office was ably managed by Rachel Pevnick and since 1991 by current executive director Sandy Abrams. Rabbi Barrow was assisted by many teachers and administrators, including Mr. Irving Cement in the 1970s, Rabbi Yaakov Gertzlin, and later Associate Rabbi Joel Finkelstein. At the start of 1998, Rabbi Zev Smason came to Nusach B'nai Zion as Associate Rabbi for Outreach. After 34 years of service, Rabbi Barrow, along with his wife Pearl and son Avi, made Aliyah, and Rabbi Smason became the new spiritual leader of the congregation. With the start of the 21st century, membership is on the rise. Exciting programs and activities fill the calendar, along with enhanced services led by Dr. Ethan Schumann and many simchas for our family and congregants. As the congregation moves into the next century, it remains grounded in Torah principles, providing a welcoming atmosphere for all Jews to daven, to learn, and to grow in mitzvahs and love of Torah and Yiddishkeit. Wherever our congregation may move in the future, Nusach B'nai Zion is so much more than a building or even a place to daven. It is our members coming together to form a vibrant, loving community, living Torah values for generation to generation.